everyone. Welcome to Winged Paper Crafting. My name is Angel Fitch. If you're new around here, welcome. And if you're returning, welcome back. I'm so glad you've stopped by my YouTube channel. Today we're going to do our next Fun Fold Friday card. And we're going to do this, it's called an explosion card, which is just so cool. And our example card here, I used the Peaceful Garden set, which includes this Peace on Earth stamp set. So I used the sentiments out of here, the sending and the love. And I used the corner, it was an old stamp set, Corner and Bloom or something it was called. So I just used that around the bottom edge of this. And then I cut out one of these doves off of this Peace on Earth set. It has a couple of the doves in it. And a tiny little, you can see it here, envelope. And so the dove here is carrying a little envelope in its mouth, which is just too cute. And I don't know if you can see this or not, but I Stellaed up the dove to kind of give it some shine. So this is the card we're going to make today. We're going to use a different paper set though, a different stamp set. This is just our example. And also though, let me tell you real quick. Inside here behind the dove, I used this Elements of Text set. So just to give it this faint like writing here in the background. I just love this set. It's too cool. Okay, so let's move on. Let's see. So we're going to use the Poppin By set, which is also very cute. And this past week got moved to the last chance list. So if you like what you see today, you might want to go out and check this out because it is at a reduced cost. So it gives you some dies that do the popcorn and the little popcorn bucket. You can cut that out and stamp. So here are the stamps then. Different popcorn shapes. It's just very cute. So let me show you what we're going to do here. Put this away and out of our way. Okay, so I'm going to start with a whole bunch of pieces here. And I haven't done everything for this, but I did do some of it ahead of time just to save some time here. So I've got a card base. I'm going to put all of our little pieces over here to the corner. So this is very vanilla. And this is 11 by 4 1/4. Okay, so this is our card base. We're going to do basically a bookbinding card. So I have scored this at, let me just check and make sure where I scored it. I scored it at 5 1/2 and again at 6 3/4. Okay, so that's going to make our bookbinding part. So let's go ahead and take our bone folder and we're going to score this. So I'm just going to fold it over here and we'll do our first score. And then I'm just going to back this up a minute here and we'll score our other score line. Let's see, there we go. Okay. So now we've got, so you score at your 5 1/2, and then score at the other one backwards. So we're going to score like this. And this inside here is we're going to glue that together to make our bookbinding card. Okay, so there's our card base. Then I'm using this yellow polka dotted paper and this striped paper that came from the Turtley Sweet collection. I can show you some of it. I've got it just everywhere, but I'll just show you a few of these papers. So this is the one we're using in our card here. Actually it's not. It has that same striped on the back, but it's not the polka dots. You get some cute turtles. This is a very cute set as well. So I've got the paper pack and sticker sheet and the scrapbooking workshop kit that you can get that particular set in. So you might want to check that out because you can kind of mix and match and make some really cute things. Okay, so I've got a piece of this yellow polka dotted that reminded me so much of popping popcorn that we're going to put on the front. And then we've got a little piece that's going to go down our bookbinding, down our binding part here. So this is like 1 inch by 4. So 1 by 4 is going to go down here. So let's work on our little binding part here first. So I'm going to put this on with just some tape runner. And yes, I am out of Stampin' Seal and need to put an order in to get some. So in the meantime, I'm using what I have because there's no point to hanging on to it, right? Okay, so there's that. Now, down the here we're going to use some ribbon. So I used this sheer ribbon on this one. But for this one, I'm going to use some red and gold. Let's see what this is called exactly. Real red and gold. So there you go. So we're going to use that to go down our piece here. So I'm going to cut a piece that's, I don't know, just a little longer than, we just need enough to tuck in the edges on the other side. So we'll just give this a snip here. So this is approximately 5 3/4, but whatever works that you can just get it tucked to the other side is what you want. So we're going to open this up. I'm going to take some tear and tape because it's a stronger adhesive. As soon as I can figure out where my tear and tape is, because it does not appear to be where it belongs. Does that not just figure? Okay, where did it run away to? Hang on, I'll find it. It's a darn good thing that my head is attached to my shoulders, because I would lose that too, honestly. There it is. It doesn't matter how, well, here's some we can use, how clean I start out with my craft room. Does anybody else have this problem? You clean it up, it looks good, you sit down, touch a craft, and 5 minutes later it looks like a tornado's gone through it. Is it just me? Let me know in the comments. Let me know if you have that problem too. Okay, so I'm just going to take a couple of little pieces of this tear and tape. I'm going to put it at the very edge of our little binding part. Okay, and we'll tear another piece off here. Go here. And what you want to do with this tear and tape is you want to put it down and then burnish it really well. And then you just peel off the little paper here. And then it's sticky on both sides. Oh, there we go. I got a hold of it. Okay. Sometimes it's easier to take your pick tool to just kind of peel up that tape. Especially if you're like me and you don't have fingernails. Okay, there we go. Now, so I'm going to take this. Let's make sure I've got it right side up. Yep. So I want it upside down. Okay, so we're going to put it here. And I'm just going to fold this over so that you can catch that on each side. And then I'm going to take another piece of tear and tape and put over here. So you want to just give this a lot of reinforcement so that it stays in place. Because the last thing you want is for, you give this card away and it comes apart. Because we don't want that, right? Okay, so I'm not going to take the backs off that yet. I will here in a minute. So let's straighten this up. Make sure we've got this straight down our binding here, because it looks like we're not quite in the middle. Okay, so I'm just going to move that one over just a titch, and then I'm going to move this top one over just a little bit so that we're straight. So let's look. Is that better? That's much better. Okay. All right, so we've got that. Now, we're going to take another piece of this ribbon, and I'm going to just cut a piece like this. This is probably a little over about 4.5. And you can always, trim we're going to trim the ends if it's too long. So I'm just going to take it and put it over that and just tie a knot. So we're going to get our knot tied here. Okay, come on. Okay, so we've got a nice knot. Make sure it's kind of centered from top to bottom before you pull it tight. Okay, there we go. Just like that. Perfect. Now, we can trim our ends off here, which I think I'm going to do just to kind of trim these up, just because this one's got a little thread at the end. So let's just cut this like on the diagonal. And then we'll cut this one over here to match it. There we go. Perfect. All right, so there's that. Now we can go back on the inside and we'll actually glue this shut. So at this point, I'm going to take the other pieces of paper off of our tear and tape, because that'll help to secure this to the card. Okay, and then you just push that shut, and you got perfect. Okay, now the next thing I like to do is I like to take just trying to get this turned over so that it's right side up. There we go. I'm going to take a glue dot, a mini glue dot, and I'm going to just roll one of these off of here with my take your pick tool. I'm just going to put it under here just to give this again some more stability to keep it secured. Okay, perfect. All right, let's move on to the rest of the front of our card. So this piece is it's a 4x4 square, so we're going to put that down next. So we'll just use some tape runner here. Now, I'm going to open this up just because, well, I'm not actually. I could have before, but I can't now. But that's all right. I'm just trying to line this up. So you want it to be even on with your binding piece over here, top to bottom, and then centered left to right. So that looks pretty good. Okay, so there's the front of our card. Now, we've got a label piece here that I cut from somewhere that I honestly don't remember. Where did I cut this from? I'm not overly sure where, but I will find it. I'll put it in the description below what I used for this label. I don't remember. Okay, so we're going to build our front on this. So we have got a couple of these popcorn buckets that I stamped and then cut out. I'm trying to gather up all my little pieces here. So I stamped one in real red and one in, let's see, I think it was Daffodil Delight, if I'm not mistaken. I have it right here, so let me make sure. Yes, Daffodil Delight. And I want to combine them, though, so that I have a red bucket and yellow popcorn, because red popcorn, you know, doesn't really make much sense. So I stamped this second one in yellow, and I'm just going to go along here with my snips and trim off the popcorn piece from the top. So we'll just go right around this popcorn bucket. So not hard to do at all. Okay, we don't really need this piece. But then we're going to take these and put them on top of here so that now we have yellow popcorn. Nice and buttery popcorn in our popcorn bucket. So let me go ahead and get that down with a little bit of liquid glue. So we'll use our Tombow here. Just a little bit. Don't need a lot. Try not to, you know, get so much that it oozes out everywhere, which is a problem I always have. Okay, so there's our popcorn bucket. So cute. Now, also from the die set, I cut our little popcorn dude some glasses here out of black. And he's also got a couple of little black shoes. Now, the question of the day is, where is his other shoe? I had it just a second ago. Where did it go? Oh my goodness. Hang on, we'll find his shoe. There it is. I found it. Okay, so let's go ahead and get his little shoes on. And I'm just trying to make sure I've got glue on the, the wrong side, because they do have some detail to them on the front side. Probably not something you're going to be able to pick up on camera, but trust me, it's there, and it's so cute. Okay, so there's his one shoe. Just going to use this to kind of, it's so little. Okay, now let's get his other shoe on. Whoops. Okay, so it goes that way. So this is the wrong side. We'll go ahead and get just a tad bit of glue on this side. And we'll put his other shoe on like that. Whoops. And it not stick to my finger if we can help it. Okay, so I'm just going to maneuver these until I like how they sit, and then we'll give them a second to dry. And let's do the little glasses here. Let's see. I think I'm going to just put glue dot in the middle and not try to go all the way around it because it'll just make a mess. Okay, so we'll get this and we'll give that a second to glue or stick. Okay, so there. We're just going to put our little popcorn dude over to the side here and let him dry. And so the next thing we're going to do, so we're going to do some stamping on our little label here. And I also cut 3 of these popcorn pieces that we're going to pop up down here along the bottom. So we're going to put those to the side for a minute while we do our stamping. So in Real Red, we are going to stamp this popping in to say hello. Okay, so we're going to do that. Let me get our ink. And a block. We'll get a block here. Okay, so here's our popping in to say hello. And we're going to ink that up. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just put this pretty close to the top, because I need the room on the rest of the label to do the rest of our decorating. So let me get this down and see if I even remotely got that centered. Perfect. Okay, so there's that. I'm going to put the ink away for now. We're not completely done stamping, but I don't want any ink disasters if we can help it today. All right, now I've got our 3 pieces of buttered popcorn here that we're going to put down. So if you stick around to the end of this video, I've got some really interesting, good, nice, wonderful information about Stampin' Up! And the Join special that is currently going on that I would like to share with you. So stick around to the end and we'll go through that. I meant to do it at the beginning, but I was just so excited to get into our card here, I kind of forgot. Okay, so we're going to take our little dude here, our popcorn dude, and we're going to put him off to the side of our tag. So we just really need glue on the right side of him, because he's kind of going to stick off the edge of our label here. And then I'm going to pop up the popcorn pieces on some dimensionals. So we'll turn those over and I'll get my dimensionals. I'm just going to put one big dimensional in the center of each of the pieces of popcorn. Just like that. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and get these on here. I'm trying to figure out which way is the best. So I think I'm going to do this one here, and this one over here, and we'll put our little guy here right in the middle. Okay, so there's our popcorn pieces. Isn't that so cute? Okay, and it's going to go right here on the front of our card. All right, so here's the thing though. Our little popcorn dude, bucket dude here has to scoot over a little bit, just because we don't want to impede the fold in our card, because if we do, every time it gets opened, it's going to crease the little top, or yeah, the little popcorn over there. So I just want to move it over just a hair, and then we'll check it and see. Let's see. Hang on. Let's get this down where we want it. I'm going to wait on him. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and put this down first, and that'll help us to position our popcorn bucket dude so he's not going to impede our bind. So let's put this in the middle, and I'm going to bring it so we just kind of all the way to the right hand side, which is going to give us the most maximum room on the left hand side for our bucket dude. So there's that. Looks pretty good. Now let's get the bucket dude down here. Okay, so we don't want to go, there we go. So I'm going to kind of just tuck him right underneath our little piece of popcorn that we popped up, and we can just stick him right there. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. Okay, so there's that. Isn't that so cute? Okay, now let's work on our explosion piece for the inside. So I have another piece of this paper, and it is 6 by 6, and this is going to work as our mechanism for the inside. So let me tell you how I folded this, because it can be a little confusing. So I started with it flat like this. I folded it over in half that way. And I gave it a good burnish. Okay. I opened it back up, rotated it 90 degrees, and folded it again in half. Okay. And we give it a good burnish. And now we need to fold it from corner to corner. So just like this. Okay. And we'll burnish that. Okay, so now we've got our diagonal this way. Now we also need to fold it corner to corner the other way. Okay, and we'll burnish this. And then what you need to do when you go to close it, you need to gather in the pieces here, because we want it to lay in a square. Let me see if I can get this to work. Once you get the hang of it, it's not bad. It's just initially getting the hang of it, of how you need it to fold. Just like this. Okay, so see, now we've got a square, right? Yes. So I'm going to burnish this again and make sure it's nice and tight. Now, when we go to put it on the inside, which we're not quite going to do yet because we need to decorate our inside pieces, but it's going to lay right in here. Let me see. Let me make sure I'm telling you the right thing about how it's going to lay in here. It actually lays in here more like this. So in a diamond shape, so that when it opens, let's see, let me look at our example and make sure, because I need to get my bearings here. So I know it goes like this, and this is going to go down here. Okay, so that's not the right way. We need it to be, oh, we need it to open. Let's see, how do we need it to open? I need it to open. Oh my goodness, this is not supposed to be this hard. I mean, it was a little hard. I'm not going to lie to you. It's a little, till you get the trick of this. Because we want it to open, yeah, just like that. Okay, so we need it to be like this. Doesn't seem quite right. I think like that. Okay, and now when it opens, it's going to open like that. Yep, okay. So fold it up into your square. It's going to sit the open side to the right, just to the right-hand side of the card, and it's going to go in a diamond. It's going to look like a diamond. So that when it opens up, it's going to open up like this, because this is going to be glued to that piece. So just like that. Okay? All right, you kind of just have to play with it until you can get it so that the open edges are all on the right-hand side. So this is an open edge and this is an open edge. These are both closed. And then in a diamond, so that your top point, your bottom point, and each of these side points are all touching the edges of the card. So that's how it needs to sit. Okay, But before we do that, because I don't want to glue it in until we've got our decorative pieces done. So I have 2 squares here of Very Vanilla that are 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. Okay, so we're going to do some stamping. So let me find the stamp set again. What did I do with it? Here it is. So I'm going to use a couple of these popcorn people. Is that what they are? Popcorn people? Kind of looks that way, doesn't it? And we've got one here who is actually in the process of popping, as well as this guy here who is in the process of popping. And we've got then this little stamp here that says pop, which is just too cute. And I'm trying to find my Daffodil Delight ink here. Okay, because we're going to use this Daffodil Delight ink, and we are going to take our, okay, so on one of these, they're going to go in on a diagonal, so make sure you decorate them on the diagonal. So I'm going to take this guy and put him there, and this guy we're going to put over here. So we're going to stamp them first, and then I'll show you what we're going to do with the little pop thing here. So let me get a block. I'll put that to the side. Okay, so I'm going to block this guy up, and we're going to ink this. Just make sure we've got good coverage. And I'm going to put this straight. So I'm going to line this up on my glass mat so that it's kind of straight. Now, I want this guy to be more to the left so that we have room for our guy to the right, but centered as much as I can. So it's kind of up to you what you want to do. So there's that. Okay, so that's cute. We'll put that guy to the side. Now we'll get our other, where's our other Poppin' Dude here? We want our Poppin' Dude. Okay, get him inked up. Okay, I'm going to put that one over here. Okay, too cute. All right, now I'm going to take this tiny little pop, and if I can find a tinier block here, we're going to ink this guy up. And this is one of those really tiny red rubber ones that you have to be really careful with, because you will get it on the outside of the thing. And let me show you, if you're not careful with this, because it's so tiny, okay, so what we want is a nice clean pop. But let me show you what happens if you push too hard. It kind of, you can get that outline, and it can also kind of distort the letters. So, straight up and down when you're inking. Press, but don't press too hard. And don't rock the block if you can help it. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this little pop dude, and I'm going to try to just put the word pop. And actually I'm going to bring back in our scrap paper here so that I can go off of the edge of, because we're going to kind of make our own pattern paper background, but you will go off the edge because that makes it look like it was meant to be that way, right? Okay, so I'm just, you know, as light of a touch as you can do, and it takes practice, because God only knows I have made a mess several times. It just takes a little bit of, you know, just to learn what the, there we go. Maybe we can fit one more in here between our Poppin' people. Let's see if I can get one more in here. There we go. Okay, too cute. All right, so that's going to go on. Now open our piece back up here. It's going to go in this quadrant of our paper right there. And then on our other piece of diagonal, we are going, I don't need our scrap paper anymore. I'm going to take this other dude who's not in the popping process, but still just as cute. And I'm going to use this one on the other side here. So I'm going to put another sentiment right here, and I'll show you in a second. So we're going to do these two guys close to the top and then to each side so that we have room for our sentiment down here. So I don't want to get these too far down or they'll be in our way. So let's do this guy here. And if it turns out they're in our way, we can always flip it over and use the other side, right? Right. Okay, so I'm going to go back to our real red. And at the bottom here, I'm going to use this that says, "No one's better than you." We're going to put that right down here below our two popcorn people. Okay, let me get a block here. All right, so we're going to ink this up with real red. Okay, now let's see if we can get this down without messing this up. And it's upside down, isn't it? Oh, I forgot. Okay, hang on. This is a good thing. When I put this label on this, I put it on upside down, which is not cool. But I couldn't get it off to turn it over. So I need to pay more attention and don't forget that it's on upside down. All right, that's okay. You can turn it over. We can do it again. It's fine. Okay, so let's go back and do our little popcorn men again. Okay. It's been a few weeks since I designed this card, and I had already forgotten that this was a thing. Okay, let's see here. Let's get this. Get our popcorn dudes back on here, which is fine. There we go. And now we'll get our sentiment. So I got to stamp it upside down because that's the way it's right side up. I was so mad at myself that I put it on upside down. And now you watch, every time I'll forget that that's a thing. There we go. Perfect. All right, second time's a charm, right? All right, so let me put the ink away so that we not have any ink disasters today. And this one is going to go now in this upper corner. So let's go ahead and just use some tape runner to put these down. So we're just going to center them in our little square here as best we can. Okay, so we got that one. And then we'll get this one. And I'm going to put this right here. Okay, now I've also got a couple of these other popcorn dudes that I cut out. And I'm wondering if we can use them or not. Maybe one of them. Or maybe we could use both. I kind of forgot I had these, but we could, I don't know. We can't put them here because it'll impede our closing of our thing, so that's all right. You know what? I'm just going to leave it and use that on another project. Okay, so let's close our little thing back up here. And let's see if we can get this down the right way. Okay, so we want to be centered. And I'm going to just make sure now that this, I'm going to hold the bottom and pretend like it's glued together. Okay, so see, that's not, well, maybe. Let's see. Okay. So if I hold the bottom piece down and pretend, there we go. See, that's what we wanted to do right there. Okay. So now that I know I've got it in the right position, I'm going to take it, flip it over, and put some tape runner on this side. This is just a piece you kind of have to work with until you can remember how the mechanics work. Okay, so we'll get this down here. So all the points are going to be touching a side of the card. Okay, so we're going to just push that down. Okay, so see, we're good. Now we'll take some more tape runner and put on this side. And I'm going to make sure we're good, and it's going to get a workout every time it gets opened. And just close your card. And ta-da! It's perfect. Yay! Isn't that cute? It's so cute. I just love this. Okay, so there's our card. Just perfect. Popping in to say hello, and no one's better than you. Just too cute. Okay, so there is our fun fold for this Friday. Now, let's get our other cards. So here's the two that we did. Too cute. This one, whimsical. This one, a little more fancy. But just depends on the occasion that you're looking for to send your card. You can make the same stamp set work in two totally different ways. So they're very versatile in that way, because they don't have to be just all, you know, well, not the stamp set, but the design of the card is what I was trying to say. You can make it work either fun and whimsical or, you know, serious. So, cute. Okay. Now, before we go, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe and hit that bell so you get notified every time I upload a video. I am going to try to get back on track here. I lost a couple weeks because I had to have some surgery, and I'm just now, like, you know, feeling like I'm ready to go again. So, we're going to get back into the swing of things for real. So let me share with you real quick this amazing offer that Stampin' Up! Is doing right now to join Stampin' Up! As a demonstrator. So the first offer is for $35. You can pick $125 worth of product out of the catalog. And it's any product that's in the catalog or on the online exclusives. There are no product that are, you know, off limits or not something that you could add to your order. You can certainly add anything that's out there. So $35 gets you $125 worth of product, which is a wonderful offer. But the second offer they're doing is, let me get this. So for $99, you can pick $189 of the product, which is just phenomenal. So when I joined, it was a $99 offer, but you didn't get to pick $189 worth of product. I think it was like $125 or something. So this is just tremendous. So, you know, if you're interested, have any questions, I would love for you to join my team. You know, we can have a lot of fun around here. The bigger we grow the team, the more fun we have. And I would love to have you. So if you have any questions or need any help with anything, just don't hesitate to reach out. My email is going to be in the description box below. So I just wanted to pass this wonderful opportunity along in case you've been on the fence, you know, thinking about it, you know, and wasn't quite sure, but this is just an offer that's really hard to pass up. So, okay, that's all I have for today. We're going to get back into our paper pumpkin too, if you're interested in that. So I will see you all in the next one. Have a crafty day. Bye.